Alright, now we make sure we come up on here. Sure hope we come up on there. Things are green. Things are going. Yay, we're on YouTube. Things are green. Things are going. And last needs to go here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, we should be streaming, we should be running. I want to give people maybe 5 minutes to show up, maybe 10. We'll talk about it. While I do that, I think I might clear this pull request and start over. Yeah, let's start from the very beginning instead. So yeah, okay, cool. So today's stream is going to be a bit of a how the big boys do it. We're going to work through what's called a pull request. This is how you add code to projects that you might be following. We're going to go through each of the steps since we have a working branch and get that added into this Prosper Data Reader project. To my Eve fans, I'm sorry it's not an Eve feed, but it is. We're going to be adding cryptocurrency support to the data reader project. For those who haven't been read in, data reader is a way for us to keep a bunch of scrapers and just-in-time kind of queries, data access API stuff in one easy place. Might need to fix my camera. Hold on. A little zoomed in here. There we go. So there's nothing stopping us from making EVE Online tools here. We just haven't added any yet because, well, I'm the only one who contributes to this, so we get to do what I want to do. So far, if we go dig into the project, we have two things we can go follow up on. We can go through the raw code, which is down here in the Prosper data reader. We have some utilities for dealing with real-life stock data. We can fetch news and we can fetch price data from Robinhood. This extends what something like Panda's data reader does, which gives you easy access to all this stuff. This is where I'm sort of stealing my inspiration from, is because you can say, oh, well, I want to just go grab, hey, can I get all of the prices for this F stock, or do I want to get order books or quotes or this kind of stuff? And I wanted something similar so that whenever you make a feed, you know what you're going to get on the backside of it. And with this all being in one project, we can also add support for testing, so that we get emails that stuff is broken before any user calls us that anything is broken. Like, the whole point of this is to go put scaffolding up, so that if somewhere like CCP or a feed you're using changes, we can get notified first and make adjustments as needed, rather than playing catch up like 6 months later when someone's like, oh, your whole tool is broken. This lets us keep ahead of things. So let's see, we've got a few people watching the stream. Man, don't put Eve on my Eve Prosper and nobody tunes in on Twitch. Oh, I'm so unpopular. I have to start over from scratch. This sucks. But yeah, like, the whole point here I want to do is to sort of walk people through it so that they can feel less like this is some daunting super geniuses only thing, and just go through the fact that it's Legos and work through each of the steps one by one. So it looks like we've killed enough time to let people start trickling in. We can go ahead and get started. So the very first thing I did before we started is I made sure that my local one is up to date with get pull. As you can see, we've got two branches. We've got this BTC branch and this master branch. I know that's not going to come across on stream very well. And right now we're broken, according to Travis, and we can validate that here. Again, helps if I don't block it. If we run the tests on our own machine, we should see the same failure, because Robinhood is moving faster than I expected. Like, we're learning something by this. Also, that X there is something that we should probably look into, but has an outstanding issue. So we'll talk about that as we get forward on this. So, like I said, we're working through the tests. That's what each of these little dots is a test. The F's are failures. The X's are what are called X fails. They're not real failures. They won't stop release. They're more like warnings. Welcome to the stream, Panda Saint. We are going to be releasing a new tool set into our data reader project, which is to look at crypto coin feeds. We're basically wrapping up REST endpoints that we think we'll be using regularly, and making sure that we put the tests and the readers in one place, so we don't have to have code just splattered everywhere. So we have a problem. One of the schemas isn't up to date, and this is thanks to Robinhood, again, being a fast-moving target. We can fix that. That's not a problem. Schemas, stocks. That should be the news schema, I think. Bring it over here to Sublime. The UUID is not right, so we need to do, I think, That should fix it. We expect to see a string or a null. So let's give that a shot. Panda Saint is asking how long I've been working in computer science. So I am an electrical engineer by trade. Have been working in code for 5 or 6 years now, but I've only really seriously doubled down and made it my primary thing in the last year and a half. So basically, I'm a full-time Python 3.5, Python 3.6 data. So I'm not a data scientist per se. I'm more of data science operations kind of guy. I make sure that the data scientists can get their data, that the systems work, that they're reliable, and everything works as expected. Because there's no point in having a PhD guy who can't actually pull anything because the system just sucks. So my job is to make it so he can go do the thing. So again, we have these X fails because, again, one of the feeds is a pretty fast-moving feed, and they keep adding new bitcoins to it, crypto coins to it. So this Wealth, NTO, and ICO coins have been added since the last test. This isn't a problem because, again, you can see the big green here that says everything passed, one X failed, X fails are okay. We have an issue open to better handle these because, to be honest, I only want to fail when we lose coverage, not when we gain new coverage, right? Like, you don't care if you get a new column. You care if a column you're relying on disappears. So there's an outstanding thing for working on that. It's going to take a little bit of work to get going, but it's a to-do. So, but that's not going to stop us from releasing today. So now that we have updated the code, we have to commit the record. Now we need to push up the data to remote so that the server actually has our code. So Bootsy's asking, could I just ignore the X fail instead of creating another system for that? It's that there's nothing wrong with the X fail now, right? I know it's going to fail. That's why I set it for X fail. But this is what I get my reports on every week from Travis, is that something is out of date because the schemas are very strict and we aren't able to add more data, and we aren't able to add more data into the thing. The system says, oh, well, anything changed, that's a failure. So what I want to do is instead add a little extension that says, okay, well, we know that this is a target that moves, and we only want to fail if something is lost, not if something is gained. But I have to add memory to be able to do that, and Travis isn't going to get updates unless GitHub gets updates, like unless the raw code updates. So I need to go add basically a database in between that says, okay, well, please ask the thing that has memory, has this updated, and then we can. It's not that big a problem, but it's not part of this release, so we can ignore the X fail today, and we'll fix it tomorrow. So we just pushed up a new update, which is passing now. We got all green here on Travis. Ignore that. There's a bug. So now we're all green. We need to make a pull request. So that's easy. We go to the project. We create a new pull request. If you're working from your repository, you're going to work from what's called a fork. That's what this button up here is for. You fork it into your own account. You do your own changes on your own version. And then when you press pull request, it will say from my project into the master project. So we're merging in BTC into this project. And I already wrote a thing, so I'm going to go steal that. We're going to write a piece of information about how what we expect this pull request to do. And make a note for the manager. So what we've done is we said, what's the headline? We're adding support for cryptocurrencies. We add some notes. So there is a methodology in writing get commit statements, and that I am of two minds. So when I write commit statements, I usually write them in a forward tense, this thing adds blank, as opposed to a more proper tense that a lot of devs I know like to say is that if I accept this commit, it will be adding something in a true future tense functionality. So I split the difference. I do like this commit adds blank, but then the pull request says if you accept this, you will add a subgroup. You will add support for all of these things. There'll be some more test coverage and a note about that we've removed 3.7 dev from the Travis plan because of problems. So that'll be great. We create a pull request. Easy peasy. We get conversation, which is going to be where all the notes end up being. We're going to ignore the coveralls problem because it's lying. It's going to list out all of the commits that we've written. I don't love looking at commits because I write a lot of commits, so I don't make it very easy to cherry pick, unfortunately. And then the raw code is where we're going to actually do a code review. So, and just so you guys know, on the other side of the world, let me go pull up does it make a thing for me? Usually it sends information about a pull request to the user, but seeing as I initiated it to myself, I guess that's a skip case. Okay, so we're gonna go do a full review, which will kick in as soon as we do a comment, right? So we're going to start at the top, work our way down. First is in the Travis YAML, which is the test plan. That's what runs travis.ci. That's what makes this thing run. We are commenting out the 3.7 dev. We knew that from the notes, so that's good. We're adding this include to the manifest. This is for packaging so that when our project goes out to the world over PyPI, it actually works. So let's double check one other thing. Yeah, we should fix that. Hold on. This is some packaging nonsense that I really don't love about Python, that sdist and bdist wheel play by totally different rules. So let me go, I'm going to go add that into the commit. First we're going to test it. So we're going to make sure that these work. So we get version.txt, that's good. So that works like expected. And then this one needs to and that one gets it too, so our packaging works like expected. So let's add that note. Oops, helps to press the button. So I know we already started a code review, and now we're adding code. Do I need to go make a new code review? No, I don't. I just need to refresh, and the new code should... See, the new code is out of date. We press refresh, and we should be now up to date. So we've gone and we've fixed manifest in. In the README, we do have a problem here, which is we don't have price history. I wasn't able to find a thing to do price history yet. We'll add it at another point. Like, there's nothing stopping us from doing it later. But we don't have it, so we can't really ship it, right? So let's go ahead and make a note. And we're going to start a review. So we're okay with the rest of the docs there. Next we have these restructured text files are the docs. These are provided, these get auto-processed by Sphinx to make read the docs pages. We're going to assume, like, so this isn't any code that runs, so if it doesn't get reviewed, like, who's really going to cry about it? I'm okay. I'm happy to take this basically at face value, just make sure there's no spelling errors, nothing egregiously wrong. Looks good. Index just adds the link to the new coins endpoint. That's cool. Make sure that those are in the map. Next, this helps us do auto docs, so we're going to leave that alone. That's not handled by me. More restructured text, no problem. Let's go into version. So this code is copy pasted from Prosper Common. I have made it so that it tries to use the latest tag to figure out what the release is, rather than having to update a thing for every release manually. That's already been tested and works. We have no changes in init because there's no stuff in init. Coins info. So this is where the actual code starts. I know we've been at this for 15 minutes. We just finally got to code. So we start at the top. We've got, pretty happy with this. This is all of the internal Python imports. These are external Python imports, and these are Prosper imports. We also have this config area that is our global namespace for the whole data reader project. We've gone ahead and said all. We say if you import star, you're going to get symbol, get ticker info, and get supported symbol info. That means that there's going to be some functions here you're not going to get unless you ask for them explicitly. Next, we make sure that the global that it uses is right here. So that's just the API endpoint. We have an override in case we need to use the same code at a different spot, because there's nothing stopping us from doing that. Maybe they extend this and we want to get at it manually. We have the means to do that. We have the doc string, that's this first part here, which is handled by auto documentation to tell auto documentation how to write itself. It's also a really good practice in Python, because Python will let you put anything anywhere. It does no type checking whatsoever. So a trap, it's both a blessing and a curse to have where someone comes in and says, well, I could give it both a list and a string. Like, what if it's a string thing? And that's fine, but then when you come back 6 months later, you may not be able to understand that just from reading the code. And without being explicit about it, this is notes for ourselves, notes for other users, what to expect, the things that go in and the things that come out. This is a really simple function. We're going to see this pattern pretty regularly. That's a request. We're going to raise for status. If it comes back with anything other than good, we want it to throw a fit, and then we want the data out of it, and then we return the data at data key. So we can go ahead and take a look at this. Just looking at the REST endpoint, I know that that's teeny tiny for you guys, but all we're doing is grabbing this symbols key and taking all the data right out of it so that we can return that to the user. Next is supported symbol info. Again, things look good. We're following PEP convention here. We have information on how to use it. Great. So what are we doing? We're making a symbols data frame using pandas. Get supported symbols from hitbtc, which is up here. We're going to look for the unique key name out of that, and we're going to return the unique list. We should probably make sure that there's a test here if you ask for a key name that's not supported. I'm pretty sure I did, but that could be we'll add a note here just in case. Next, get symbol. We're going to go to so getting symbol, we go to the get supported symbols list. We try to find one that has the commodity and currency we asked for. Because the format, if we go look here, is like BTC USD, that's Bitcoin that's USD to Bitcoin. And that's what this helps us do, is that it goes and looks for commodity and currency. This is kind of ugly thanks to pandas, but that's okay. If it doesn't find anything, we're going to throw an error, which is fine. And otherwise, we're going to return the data that we find. So you're going to give it a coin and a currency, and it's going to find BTC USD. Or if you wanted to figure out Dogecoin to USD, there's Dogecoin to USD, right? Easy peasy. Next, we need to do ticker info. This is similar to this. We want to be able to generate OHLC data on demand. So that's what this endpoint should do. And at least that's what I think it does. Or is this the reverse lookup? Oh no, I think this is the reverse lookup. Right. So make sure that you have the ticker and it throws otherwise. That's weird. Let's make sure that does what I think it does, because I think I may have left before I finished my thought. Oh no, it returns this. It's a reverse lookup, so you can get this data. Okay, that's what it does. Haha. I know what I'm doing. Let's... Nope, it says it in the docs. I am just bad at this. Okay, cool enough. Next, we go to prices. Again, we double check that the formats are correct. When I do a code review, I tend to do it in like 2 or 3 passes. First pass, we look to make sure that everything is up to style snuff, so that everything looks relatively uniform. So that's things like PEP 8 and variable naming and spacing and white spacing and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and get through that. We should probably add... We should add a couple of new lines between all and class here. Listify is a simple helper. Again, as long as it has a test, I don't really care what the contents are. Also, quick hint to everybody: Python doesn't do private public. The way that you signal it, it's kind of a semaphore thing, is to do leading underscore. Says that this is basically private to this class, and you shouldn't be using it externally. There's nothing that'll stop you from doing it, but your linter will yell at you, and if you're running a particularly strict interpreter, it may also stop you. But that's it's more a semaphore than a real stopper. So then we need to do coin list to symbol list. This takes a list of coins given in an actual list, like an array, and make sure that they are valid if strict is enabled. Again, everything looks good here. We unspin for our coin in coin list. We make sure that it's uppercase and it's a string. If it's not valid, we add it to an invalid symbol list. If there's anything in the invalid symbol list and we're using strict, we report it. Otherwise, we just return. Next, we go and... Can I actually grab... Oh, yeah, no, I know why. Okay, cool. I remember what I'm doing. So then let's get a ticker, which is this one here. So if we go look up the ticker for BTC USD, we grab the single report for it. If we don't, we grab tickers for everyone that are tracked. And it does some, like, I don't love this functionality here. I think that this is hacky, but again, it works, and I don't know if I really care enough to mess with it, because, to be honest, I'm a little annoyed that HitBTC does Doesn't really follow vanilla REST standards. They're kind of using a weird PHP version of REST. So this is sort of my compromise. So we build a request, we raise for status, we go give the data, if not symbol. Oh, right, and then I should put a comment here. We'll add another comment here because this isn't easy to read. And yeah, okay. Last is getting the order book. We can pull that one. That one only does singleton. It's going to pull the latest, I think, 1,000 units in the order book and split them into asks and bids. This doesn't care about asks and bids. It just pulls the thing. It does some param formatting. Again, I don't like this. You can see a to-do this sucks. Otherwise, I'm okay with the way this does. And then get quote hit BTC is the actual real fetcher. It is going to try to fetch. It's going to so get quote. Sorry, I should put like a divider here or something. So this one is, if you give it a coin list, it's going to try to grab everything and then filter down to what you asked for. Also, it doesn't have logic to take nothing, so you have to be explicit whenever you ask for something. That could be another feature extension if, quote, everything is what you really want. And then order book requires which book. I don't love the name which book, but asks and bids is the other option for it. We grab all that stuff. We reformat the columns. We add some information to the columns. We get the stuff back. And then we added this. We moved list to string up into config because it's a global. It's globally used, so it's easier to import. And then we added some exceptions, symbol not supported and ticker not found. As you can see, we pulled this up and we moved the utils. We were going to do some other work in utils, but pulled that out instead. We extended setup.py. We added... oh yeah, we pulled out UJSON, I think is what the problem is here. And then we have schemas and tests, which I don't really expect people to really review tests beyond going to here and looking at the output. I will review tests as the maintainer, but like what I care about is this coverage number here at the bottom. And if coverage gets worse, well, I want to know why. Like I want to get information from people if the coverage gets worse. So, yeah, looks like we're pretty good to release. There are a few notes we put in the thing. So we'll go and we'll make it a comment. I don't really think we need a summary on that. So we add the comments. They show up here in the report. Coverage decreased. This is automatically added by coveralls. Sorry, I gotta press the button, don't I? So here are some automatic inputs from coveralls, which is which watches our coverage. Here are our notes, and then green check marks from automation, which we have to see. If we can't get green check marks from automation, then there's absolutely no way we can accept this pull request. And in fact, the only things we have in here are some quick notes. So let's go ahead and add them and reply to make sure that these are covered. So we have to fix the README first. And then the last one was there was a comment about all right, I think that should do. All right, so now we've got through everything that you on your side of the world should expect to do, right? If you were committing to my project, I'd expect that you write your code, you bring it to code review, we get through the comments, and we basically get it staged for release. So we're basically through everything I expect to go through from a contributor. Now, I need to go through as a maintainer So I need to go through as a maintainer and make it so it's releasable, right? There's no way you're going to be able to put stuff to my PyPI. I have to do that work. So let's start working through that. So we're going to go ahead and draft a new release off of this alpha here. So we're going to start up. We're going to start up a pre-release here as an alpha. I have to publish it as a real release, and then we will tag it as a pre-release afterwards. This is sort of one of those weird things about automation I've found. So we're going to watch the 1.1.0 Alpha 1 release here. Takes just a few moments to get through the run. Oh, real amateur hour with my green screen over here, aren't I? Ooh, that's a problem. I wonder why that didn't come up in our latest. Oh, I think this is because we haven't accepted the pull request, and so things are probably fucked up. Or did I screw up this? I think I screwed up the thing. Yeah. Let's unfucker that. I think I fucked something up. Helps to pull from the correct branch. Okay, let's try that again. Sometimes I press the wrong buttons because I'm good at this and things. So this should just take a moment. We care about 3.5 most because that is... Oh, that's how old the commit is. I understand. There we go. Everything's green. So now it's going to do the coverage test. Just has to install itself. Then it's going to push the stuff to coveralls. And then it should start to do the release. All right. Looks like we should have released 1.1.082. If we go here, we have 1.1.082, which means that we are 100% ready to release, which is good. This is exactly what we expected, what we hoped for. I do want to try downloading it real quick. I've been having some problems with my versioning tool. I want to make sure that we actually download what we think we download, and it doesn't completely fuck up the rest of the tools. This is a problem with Prosper Common, not with data readers. So if it's still broken, that's just a to-do for later. Helps to spell. So that's still a problem. Let's make sure we go dig down into it. Oh, I don't think it actually got version.txt. Well, I didn't get version.txt. I did install the correct one, right? You didn't get version attached. You should have it, because I added it to the manifest. And it worked on my box. Is it because version isn't run on... Huh. I guess that means that the version file isn't getting generated by Travis, which is weird. Uh... I'll have to go look that up. That's weird. I guess I'd do that. Okay, we'll do that off stream. So I guess I've got to do a little bit of work, and the automation is broken, which is okay. I think that's okay. I don't know how it gets... When it does this, it should have version.txt. So I don't know why it's not getting... It's not getting slurped up into the thing. I thought I fixed this already. Oh, and this one isn't the first one to finish, that's why. See, it should include here at the top level. Yeah, see, it copies version.txt into the thing. At the same time, it puts version into the thing. And it does it in the opposite order? What? That's fucking weird. So I guess that's a Travis problem, and I've got to go fight with them about it, I guess. I mean, I can upload. I was just hoping that when I press the button, it just goes. I wish it also showed me what command it ran. Oh, I bet you that's what does it. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, I hope this is what fixes it, because if not, I'm going to run out of good ideas. So we need to go to here. Okay, so let's see if that fixes us. Here we are fighting the frickin' post release. So while we wait for that to run, this to run, one of the things that was on my podcast list of the week is Talk Python to Me. It's a really excellent show. If you really want to get sort of native with Python, that is one of my best onboarding vectors. And so I've been listening to that every week, and this week they talked to I forget his name, but he runs shoot. Man, I'm just really butchering this. Anyway, so he talked. The talk was about packaging in Python and how it's a real pain in the butt, and how they're right about that. It is a total pain in the butt, and the advice he gave at the end of the stream was package first. Whatever project you're going to work on, build the packaging as step 0, so that you have a deploy target, and then as you work, you won't end up. It's easier to fix as you go than to end up building an entire thing and then finding out you can't like. Imagine if you built furniture for a living and you built a piece and then you couldn't get it out of the workshop because it couldn't fit through the doors. Like that is what it's like when you build something without thinking about packaging first. Sometimes you get lucky and things just work, or you can get really funky and you can add a bunch of bullshit to make sure it works. But if you do distribution first, then it should work reasonably well for you. Like there should be no surprises. And as you go in, and if you run into things down the line that are ugly and shitty, which happens, like I've run into packages that break me. You can head them off at the pass rather than get broken and just be stuck broken. Like the one I love to pick on is Tiny Mongo is a extension to TinyDB, and I adore TinyDB. But the guy who wrote it doesn't really know his way around packaging, and to be honest, it's kind of a 10% thing. And so like it breaks me. I forgot to set the branch correctly. Fuck me. Helps to press the buttons correctly. If you don't press the buttons correctly, the robot's not going to do what you expect it to do. So, like the thing they do is that they had been running with requiring requirements.txt in their setup.py, which is a awful idea. Please don't do this. So I had to go fix that, and then it turns out that their test requirements are part of their app requirements, which is another please don't, because you don't need PyTest to run your app, right? Like there's no reason to have PyTest to run your app. And these are things that have broken me, and I've gone ahead and it gives me a place to say, okay, well, there's a problem. We've identified the problem. Either we go and we submit a PR to fix their problem, or we work around it in a way that, like, I've done things where I upload it to my own GemFury instead of using the prod version. That's one option. But that would completely suck to build your entire app around this thing, and then come deploy time, be stuck, and nobody could use your app because they can't install the requirements, right? Like, nobody's going to come use a tool that's hard to use. So get your deployment thing figured out. I really should write a couple of blogs about deploying, because it's not inherently obvious how to set it up. There are some great resources on how to not screw yourself, but like, so the Python cookbook, for instance, has a great how to set up your project. But I still think they do a terrible job telling you why, like, if you break this rule, what it will cost you. And I say that because I worked on a work project off of something like that, and then when we got through with it, there were, a dozen places we broke the rule, thinking, who cares? And then when I had to go through and build the deployment engine, I cared, because it really broke fucking everything. And so yeah, I went ahead and fought that fight. So, and it's not super sexy, and I know I hate to put all of this extra stuff between making things and deploying things. I don't think it worked correctly. I still don't think it worked correctly. Didn't attach it. Why didn't it attach it? Did I not follow the instructions? Probably didn't follow the instructions. No, I told it not to clean up. Or did it not go first? It didn't go first. Fuck. I always pick the wrong one. So that works. Come in, yeah. It gets the docs. It gets... And it gets version.txt. Why doesn't that work? So Prosper Common works. We're just going to add an issue. We're going to release it by hand. I don't think I care at this point. So again, this is a me problem. You shouldn't have to go through this if you are releasing my stuff, right? Like, how would you know? You can't possibly run these steps on your own. Okay, so this is how we deal with it, is that there is a problem, we will fix it. It is not part of this release, it just needs to be a bug fix. It's going to take more than the 15 minutes I have left to deal with this. So let's go ahead and accept the pull request because we're happy with the content, we're happy with the code, we're just not happy with what's going on by Travis. So let's just go ahead and accept. We're confirming the merge back into main. So now everything should be in main. If we go back to the front page, we should have the added feeds have been added. Let's tag a release. A little bit of cleanup before we bounce. Let's make sure we don't have any more of the really old ones. Yeah, we're okay with this. This is fine. Okay, so now we've released 1.1. There is a bug. We have acknowledged the bug. We've added a issue for it because it's going to take a little bit of work, probably an hour or two of grinding to get that fixed. We've opened that up over here. So it just goes on the issues list. No big deal. We've released the feature, so everything should just work. And I will work on pushing a version from my own box so that this all just works, because there's no reason why this shouldn't just work for you guys. So thank you everybody who tuned in. I think that's got to end the show here. We should be back hopefully in a week or two. Still working on podcast ideas, but just been busier than sin. So I'm hoping this month to come up with at least a pilot. But I got to get shows out and all that other stuff. So I got to do some work on getting a website and getting a place to put it. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to join the Discord. Link should be down in the doobly-doo below. Follow on Twitter. Eve Prosper is where I'm at. HLib Industry is my personal one. And see you guys on the next stream. Thank you so very much.